Hello, good evening everyone. My name is Joanna Ramirez and I'd like to share about the Feast of PURIM. So, in the first one of the chart, as we see, there's the feast and the season. First is the PURIM, and then second is the Passover. Under that is the spring, and then in the middle is the summer, and the next is the fall, which is um straight to the tabernacle, and then next is Hanukkah. So Purim and then Hanukkah. So if we give a background about the Feast of Purim in the beginning, if we read the book of Esther, where book of where Esther life is the story of book of Esther in the Bible was begun at the Feast of Purim. So this is all about the Jewish celebrating their feast, or like celebrating their salvation to from genocide by by the hands of Haman. So it starts from the story of Esther and the king of king, and also with Haman. So Haman deceived the king into authorizing the genocide of the Jewish, and then God God used Esther from to prevent uh to prevent to prevent the genocide. So this one, the king, like Esther's uncle, is Mordecai, and who saved the king's life previously from the time of the Persian Empire. So because Haman is such a deceiver, or as we like the right hand of the king in the Persian that time. So that king is his name is Ahasuerus. Yes, Ahasuerus. So she exposed to the king of Persia, Ahasuerus. So before Esther became a queen, there's a first wife of Ahasuerus, which is Vashti. So the first wife, which is Vashti, the first queen, he refused to obey her king, being high-minded. Or as we like, Vashti was because Vashti was ordered by the king to present and herself before his guests, but she did refuse it. So the king was counseled by his advisor to censure the king for being disobedient, because many people can see it, and her attitude or her personality is such influence to many people. So being a disobedient, or was like disliked by the king, so Ahasuerus. So it was advised to change and put a suitable queen to be an example of obedience to many people in that time, in the guest. So Esther was chosen among many candidates, but before that, Esther become before he did become a queen, he no, she was like clean herself, or like put in the way of the cleansing, I think. Yeah, cleansing. Purification, yes, purification. So, beautification, purification to appear learn from graces of being queen. Because queen is not just easily to be like that. And then, all of, um, like when she exposed to the king of Persia the genocide of the plot of Haman, the king could not just rescind the order, because it was a stamp that with his seal, that it was during those time like there was no electronic communication, so the message instruction was through the way to go back to the first, and then put it on another kingdom. So like at the time, in the Persian Empire, the king gave another order authorizing the different Jewish that communities to arm themselves for defending in case anyone will just attack on them and will carry out the mass extermination. So from this, the Jew had a progressive revelation on the feast of the Purim, but they trust Esther. So on the time Esther, they save him, because she's example of a bride. She has to be used in as typology of the bride. So according to the scroll of Esther, they should have a days of feasting, as like celebrating their, yes, feasting and gladness, and sending portions one to another and gifts to the poor. So Purim is as celebrated among Jewish by exchanging gifts of food and drink, known as Mishno Kamanot, or donating charity to the poor, as we know as Matanot, yes, in Esther chapter 9 verse 26. So that is what happened in the feast of Purim. So why we must share this message this time of the year as a gift to the spirituality for. So here are some typologies that relevant application in our Christian life. So they are focused on the previous one, but this was focused on recent. So the application of one is we need to put the first one is the king, King Ahasuerus. So the king, the word king, could represent the sovereign god or government or judge counselor. Like he also calls could also represent as Jesus Christ. So that means he is the bridegroom, seeking a bride, like seeking a bride church. Like he is finding a suitable queen to for him. Yes, for a marriage. So the next is Vashti. Why Vashti was replaced? Because she could represent anyone who does not want to obey the progressive. As I said, she is such a bad influence to many people who is seeing her personality and disobeying the queen. So the instruction of God, like the Sadducees and Pharisees in the time of Christ, like the Nicolaitan and lukewarmness church, or for short is the foolish virgins resisting the message of the hour. So we should not disobey what king ordered. So the next one is Esther. Why Queen Esther is an example of obedience to the will of God. She is used in Israel, like she has an explanation. She has an application of as Israel wife of Jehovah or the true church, bride of Jesus Christ, and she has purification represent Christian training, or discipleship growth, perfection to the believer, and she will intervene for the other believers that will caught up in the spiritual persecution. So that is the predestinated seed. So next one is Haman. Why Haman uh, represents is the one that caused a problem, and for a believer like the follower of God. So authors a spiritual genocide of others by persuading others, and like the early Saul. So to be angry at the progressive message and those who would follow it, he will show his Nicolaitanism. And that spirit causes and introduces and dissensions, division within the simple, like pretends to be a servant of a king, but instead, like he was just destroying something, and or it's like making a trouble or causes a trouble for a believer. So next one is Mordecai. Last is Mordecai because he's the true servant of the king. So he helped recruit Esther, like on application of, or like these have a typology of the Eliezer and Rebecca. So for the choosing to the bride, help prepare her to be purified by court court in eunuchs and to be presentable to the king. So if she did not was trained, then all Jewish in that time will be killed. So godly judge, counselor in the church, the true fivefold minister, target for elimination by false brethren and ministers. So this one, Mordecai, is the represent as the true servant of the king, and like for short he was called the Hukom. So he will train you to be a bride of Christ. So that's all. Thank you.